in the Stockhausen piece tomorrow night. You are conducting one. Another composer, Matthias Pincher, is conducting the second one, and Maestro Gilbert, the third. Are you doing it with telecommunication? How are you going to keep the orchestras together in that barn of a place there? How are you going to do it?
Good evening, everybody. It's a very special piece, written in the late 50s, and it really involves the full forces of a grand symphony orchestra. So I think we have 109 players all in all, and we are in 3 groups, some 75 feet between us, the 3 conductors, and the setup for the 3 conductors is, I must say, I know pretty much what was written in the 20th century, and by far this is one of the complex scores in the way it's organized. No compromises there. It's the 3 conductors are inside a very complicated carousel with tempo relationships where you have 7 against 8, then you have to switch to a 5 against 7, and then catch an 11-12, and in the middle of that shift. Yet, Stockhausen was a very pragmatic and visionary composer. It's all done in serving the music, and he evidently in the 50s, he had been working very much in the wonderful Westdeutscher Rundfunk studios with these fantastic machines they had in the early 50s, the Telefunken 5-channel tape recorders.
That's really something in the early 50s to have that kind of multi-track
Many of you might know the Gesang der Jünglinge, which was a piece written before this, just after Gruppen. He wrote Kontakte, which is certainly one of the most spectacular ever done electronic music piece with the space used. And Stockhausen, it was not a show thing for him to do space. It was really a structural thing. So what fascinates me with this music is that somehow the sound, the textures, the layers, it all is conceived as being in space. So depending on from where it comes, it has a function in the whole setup. So this, it's for me, it's one of the milestones, one of the icons of 20th century music. So I'm very proud of having the New York Philharmonic doing this piece in town for the first time.
Should mention, too, that for those of you who won't be at either of the performances tomorrow or Saturday, that it will be streamed on Q2 Music, which is WQXR's web stream for new music. It'll be streamed 2 times in July, and I can't remember the dates off the top of my head. You can find it at WQXR.org. There's an article on the performance there.
And to answer your question, we are not communicating on any artificial level, neither using any monitoring. We are just watching each other, so it's totally acoustical. So it's a very fascinating game to look at the 3. So I can assure you, we've been sitting very much together, the 3 of us lately, working this out, and now with the orchestra. So it's all acoustical. There is no modern technology involved in how you perform this piece.
And the singers are not mic'd either. They're, from
in the Mozart, no, it's an acoustical concert.
The Mozart is the last part of Act 1 of Don Giovanni, where Mozart wrote 3 different dances performed by a pit orchestra and a couple of offstage bands. But in this case, 3 giant orchestras will play these while the drama takes place. It's being semi-staged with the performers in costume. And it's going to be a remarkable way for the audience to be in the middle of that ball that happens at the end of Act 1. So the audience will actually be there. I shouldn't tell you anymore. I'm wishing I'd bought a ticket. You're probably wishing you'd bought a ticket. It's too late for us now. We'll just have to live with it.